magical Buddhist kingdom unchanged for 1,000 years.
What if the Earth is packed with secrets so out of reach that even our best tech can't uncover them all before the curtain falls? Seriously, can you imagine finding a hidden cave where monks have cracked the code to near-immortality?
Many believe this is the site of a mysterious energy field where the Earth's cosmic power lines meet and create 4 energy vortices.
From the liberated monks seeking enlightenment, there 1, to the fiercely devoted mortals risking it all for their faith, there 4. What lengths would you go to for a shot at some spiritual enlightenment? Would you dive into the unknown, or is that a bit too Indiana Jones for your taste? 1. The monks of FactFile. High in the Zanskar Valley, tucked into the cliffs like something out of a dream, is FactFile. This place isn't your average monastery. It's built right into caves that hang above the Sarap River, and for ages it was completely off the radar. You couldn't even get there by road until recently, which means it was the ultimate hidden retreat for monks doing their thing, meditating, studying, and maybe, just maybe, unlocking the secrets of eternal life. The name itself says a lot. FactFile comes from the Zanskari words meaning cave of leisure or cave of liberation. And yeah, these monks weren't just chilling. Legends say that through their hardcore spiritual practices, some of them might have freed themselves from the one thing none of us can escape: aging. Imagine sitting on a mountain, meditating so hard that you basically stop aging. Which one is cuter? Like for the dog comment for the cat. Wild, right? For centuries, no one outside of the monastery knew what was really happening up there, and it's still hard to say for sure. But the rumor mill keeps spinning about monks who have lived for what seems like forever. Maybe it's the air, the peace, or some ancient secret they've been guarding all these years. Whatever it is, the vibe at FactFile is like something out of a spiritual fantasy, minus the dragons, of course. 2. The Monastery of St. Anthony. Way out in the Egyptian desert, the Monastery of St. Anthony has been around for centuries, but it's not just about the old walls and church vibes. Hidden within its rugged landscape is the real treasure, St. Anthony's Cave. Yup, the man who kick-started monastic life didn't just preach simplicity, he lived it. Literally holed up in a cave 2,000 feet above the monastery. Imagine the hike. This isn't just any cave either. This is where St. Anthony retreated to in the 4th century to pray, meditate, and deal with some serious spiritual battles. Think of it as the ultimate monk hangout, and it's still there today, a symbol of the kind of hardcore faith that inspired generations of monks to follow in his footsteps. Some even lived here in solitude for years, totally embracing the desert life. Beneath the church, there's also a monastic chamber, adding more layers to the mystery of the place. But the cave, that's the heart of it all. It's like stepping into a time capsule of spiritual devotion, where monks from ages past sought the same peace, clarity, and maybe even a dash of immortality that St. Anthony himself was after. So yeah, while it's not hidden in the same way as FactFile, it's definitely got that centuries-old secret vibe. 3. Underground Monasteries of Lalibela. These underground monasteries are so secret that for centuries the world didn't even know they existed. They weren't just hidden from invaders, they were practically off the map. Forget your typical church. You haven't seen anything like Lalibela's underground monasteries. We're talking about 11 churches that aren't merely built on the ground, they're literally carved into it. These rock-hewn wonders, carved out of solid volcanic rock, date back to the 12th century. But how did they even pull that off without modern tools? It's still a mystery. The most famous of these is Bet Georges St. George's Church, which is like the Beyoncé of the bunch. It's shaped like a giant cross, carved straight into the earth. These sanctuaries were created as a new Jerusalem for Ethiopian Christians, so they wouldn't have to make the dangerous pilgrimage to the Holy Land. Instead, they made their own Holy Land, no flights required. But here's where it gets wild. Rumors claim they were built by actual angels who worked through the night to finish the job. Others say the king behind it, Lalibela, had divine visions, telling him how to pull off such a mind-bending feat. Some even whisper that there's untapped treasure buried in the depths of these churches, just waiting to be discovered. 4. The Chapel in the Sky.
The
Chapel of Yamata-gu is a real gem, perched 650 feet high in Ethiopia's Tigray region. Built by Father Yamata in the 5th century, this chapel was designed to be as close to the heavenly spirits as possible. Clearly, he was onto something, because according to legends, it's a hotspot for divine encounters and healing. Parents literally risk their lives navigating narrow ledges to get their kids baptized here. That's some serious faith. It's not just a casual stroll. It's a trek that shows how deeply people believe in the spiritual power of this chapel.
They
think that by reaching this sacred spot, their families will receive blessings and healing, which is pretty remarkable. 5. The Katski Pillar. The Katski Pillar in Georgia is truly a sight to behold. Standing at about 130 feet high, this limestone monolith is topped with a little church and a few other structures, all dedicated to Maximus the Confessor. Historically, this pillar was home to monks who sought refuge during the Ottoman invasion. They climbed to the top, where they lived an isolated life for years. But eventually, they had to abandon their heavenly hideaway during the Ottoman invasion. Fast forward to today, and only select members of a religious order are allowed to climb the iron ladder to reach the summit. This exclusive access raises some eyebrows. Are they hiding something up there? Maybe ancient texts or sacred relics? It definitely adds an air of mystery. And let's not forget the legends. One tale goes that a monk achieved spiritual enlightenment after years on the pillar, gaining wisdom that he later shared. Others believe the site is guarded by divine forces, allowing only the worthy to climb its heights. It's this blend of spirituality and nature that draws curious visitors eager to explore its secrets. It's not just monasteries like the Katski Pillar that are hiding secrets and legends. Turns out the world is full of places where the mysterious, unexplained, and downright strange seem to linger. 6. The Fountain of Youth.
Got my cup full of water. Let's give it a taste. It's got a unique flavor to it.
The Fountain of Youth in St. Augustine, Florida, is a real-life slice of legendary lore that's just as wild as it sounds. This spring has been drawing in hopeful seekers of eternal youth since the days of Spanish explorer Ponce de León, who believed this magical water would reverse aging. Today, you can still find visitors flocking to this historic site, eager to sip from the same spring water that's packed with minerals. Over 30 different ones to be exact. But here's the thing. While the idea of drinking from a fountain of youth is super enticing, the reality might not be as glamorous. The water, sourced from the Florida aquifer, has a bit of a notorious reputation. Some say it smells like rotten eggs due to its high sulfur content, but hey, beauty is pain, right? If you can get past the smell, the rich minerals like calcium and magnesium are said to have various health benefits. So, whether you're a true believer in the legend or just curious about the historical significance, the Fountain of Youth is definitely worth a visit. Just bring your sense of adventure and maybe a clothespin for your nose. 7. The real Mount Sinai. Mount Sinai is like the ultimate mystery wrapped in a divine cloak. This legendary mountain, where Moses supposedly received the 10 Commandments, has been the subject of debate for ages. While many believe it's located in Egypt, others are pointing to Saudi Arabia as the real deal. Some even think Jebel al-Lawz could be the actual spot. Talk about a plot twist. Imagine trekking a rugged landscape, knowing you're walking where God spoke directly to Moses. It's no surprise that pilgrims and adventurers are drawn to this area, sharing stories of divine encounters and mystical moments. They're chasing not just the views, but the chance to connect with something way bigger than themselves. And then there's the allure of the real Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia, which has sparked wild theories about ancient trade routes and early Hebrew migrations. This idea adds a thrilling layer of intrigue to the whole Mount Sinai saga, making you wonder what secrets the desert holds. So, whether you're a believer in the Egyptian Mount Sinai or the Saudi contender, there's no denying this mountain's place in history and its draw for those seeking a glimpse into the divine. 8. The Singing Sand Dunes. The Singing Sand Dunes of Kazakhstan are like something out of a fantasy novel, and they're just waiting to be explored. Nestled in Altyn Emel National Park, these dunes create a mesmerizing sound that's almost magical. Picture this: when the wind sweeps across the sands, or when you take a stroll, the grains start to hum and vibrate, producing everything from soft whispers to loud roars. It's like the earth itself is serenading you. What makes this all the more fascinating is that scientists are still trying to figure out the exact reason behind this phenomenon. It has to do with the seas and shape of the sand grains and how they interact with moisture and wind. But even with all that knowledge, it's hard not to feel a sense of mystery when you hear those enchanting sounds. Some say that the dunes are home to ancient spirits, whispering secrets to anyone who stops to listen. Imagine standing at the top of one of these massive dunes, feeling the vibrations in your bones as the sands sing around you. 9. The Emerald Buddha Temple. The Emerald Buddha Temple, or Wat Phra Cave, in Bangkok, Thailand, is brimming with history and stories that bring the site to life. This sacred space houses the Emerald Buddha statue, a small yet incredibly significant figure made from a single block of jade. The story goes that it was originally created in India about 2,000 years ago. Then it kind of vanished for a while before reappearing in northern Thailand. Some say the statue's journey was guided by fate, and each time it found a new home, that kingdom became rich and protected. But here's where it gets really interesting. Locals believe the Emerald Buddha has actual power. There's a whole ritual where the King of Thailand changes its robes for each season, and people say that this act brings prosperity to the entire country. And the statue, yeah, it's not just a decorative piece. Legend says only a worthy ruler can move it. 10. The Alhambra. The Alhambra in Granada, Spain, isn't just your typical palace. It's got this air of enchantment that draws you in. Built by the Moors in the 13th century, the place is packed with history and tales that make you feel like the walls are holding on to some long-lost secrets. One of the most popular legends here is about an army of enchanted soldiers who are said to be sleeping beneath the palace, waiting for the day Granada is in trouble, ready to rise and defend it. Kind of like a mystical army on standby, right? And then there's the treasure hunt aspect. Word has it that there's hidden treasure stashed somewhere in the Alhambra's vast halls and courtyards, but it's not just sitting there waiting for anyone to grab. No, it's guarded by supernatural forces, and only someone pure of heart can find it. To even get close, they'd need to solve ancient riddles supposedly hidden in the palace's intricate carvings and architectural designs. You'd almost expect a secret door to pop open any moment. It's like a mix of history, mystery, and magic all rolled into one, and it makes you wonder, what else could be lurking just out of sight in this stunning palace? 11. The Bodhi Tree of Bodh Gaya. The Bodhi Tree is where it all went down for Siddhartha Gautama, a Kathi Buddha. This sacred fig tree in Bodh Gaya, India, is where he sat down, meditated, and refused to move until he discovered the ultimate truth. And guess what? He did. After days of deep meditation, he attained enlightenment under its branches, forever making this tree a symbol of awakening and spiritual transformation. The tree itself is considered a living link to that moment of enlightenment over 2,500 years ago, and it's believed to hold immense spiritual power. Pilgrims come to Bodh Gaya to sit under the Bodhi tree, hoping to soak in its sacred energy. They believe the tree can help them achieve a higher state of consciousness or clarity in their own spiritual journeys. Nearby, the Mahabodhi Temple, which dates back to the 3rd century BCE, stands as a tribute to that life-changing moment. The temple and tree together form a powerful symbol of liberation, with many visitors describing a sense of peace and transformation after being there. This place doesn't just represent a physical journey, it's all about breaking free from life's endless cycle of struggle. 12. The Red Rock Country. Sedona, Arizona is a place that just pulses with energy. Nestled among stunning red rock formations, it's become a go-to spot for those in search of something more than just a pretty view. Many believe that this area is a major hub for the Earth's cosmic power lines, with energy vortexes that are said to amplify spiritual experiences. Imagine standing at the edge of a breathtaking canyon, feeling a rush of energy that seems to lift your spirit. It's no wonder people keep coming back for more. The local Native American tribes like the Hopi and Navajo have shared stories for generations about this land's spiritual significance. They regard Sedona as a sacred site, filled with powerful spirits and rich history. The Hopi, for example, speak of Kachina spirits inhabiting the red rock formations, guiding and protecting the land. The Navajo share tales of the twin warriors, brothers who journeyed through the red rocks, learning from nature and embodying themes of brotherhood and adventure. These stories emphasize the importance of honoring the land and its energies. 13. Uluru. Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock, is a massive sandstone formation located in the Northern Territory of Australia. It's a site of deep cultural significance for the Anangu people, who have lived in the region for tens of thousands of years. For them, Uluru is more than just a landmark. It's a vital part of their identity and heritage. For the Anangu, Uluru is deeply intertwined with their culture and spirituality, largely thanks to Chukupa, which is often described as their dream time. This concept encompasses their creation stories, revealing how the land and its features came to be, shaped by the journeys and actions of ancestral beings. Each part of Uluru tells a story. Some might say it's like reading a history book carved right into the rock. These stories highlight the connection the Anangu have with the land, making Uluru much more than just a landmark. Many visitors say there's something truly special about being in the presence of Uluru. When the sun sets, the rock transforms into a dazzling palette of reds and oranges, and there's a palpable energy in the air. You can't help but feel a sense of wonder. The Anangu encourage everyone to experience this magic with respect. 14. The Door to Hell. Imagine a giant flaming pit in the middle of a desert, burning endlessly for over 50 years. Sounds like something straight out of a myth, right? Well, that's the Darvaza gas crater, aka the Door to Hell. Located in Turkmenistan, this inferno started when Soviet scientists accidentally tapped into an underground cavern filled with natural gas in the 70s. What was supposed to be a temporary fix, lighting the gas on fire to burn it off, turned into this massive never-ending blaze. But hey, it's not just a geological accident. There's something about this place that feels like Earth itself is unleashing some kind of cosmic wrath. It almost feels like a punishment, like something supernatural decided to keep it burning as a warning or a reminder of the planet's power. And yet, as eerie as it is, locals and visitors alike are drawn to this flaming hole, making pilgrimages to witness its unexplainable fury. Are we just intrigued by its danger, or is there something more pulling us in? Something deeper? Who knows? But the Door to Hell sure does make you wonder if there's more than just science at play. 15. The Cave Churches of Cappadocia. Hidden in the otherworldly landscapes of Cappadocia, Turkey, are the cave churches, hidden sanctuaries carved directly into the soft, volcanic rock. These aren't your average places of worship. They're ancient, mysterious, and full of history, built between the 4th and 13th centuries. These cave churches were designed by early Christian communities seeking refuge from persecution. But the sheer scale of their ambition is jaw-dropping. Entire cathedrals are carved from stone, with intricate frescoes covering the walls depicting saints, angels, and biblical scenes in vivid detail. The Gurem Open Air Museum is where you'll find the big names in cave churches, like the Dark Church, which has some of the best preserved frescoes despite hardly seeing the light of day, and the Snake Church, known for its mural of St. George going full action hero against a dragon-like serpent. And of course, there are the stories. Some say these caves were so well hidden that only those with divine guidance could find them. Today, only religious pilgrims and historians are privy to the secrets these ancient churches hold. Could there be more undiscovered chambers waiting to reveal their mysteries? 16. Meteora. Meteora, meaning suspended in the air, is home to monasteries that look like they're floating on these massive rock pillars in Greece. Monks started settling here as early as the 9th century, but seriously, how did they manage to scale these insane cliffs? According to local legends, divine intervention played a big role. We're talking about vertical rock faces with almost no easy way up, so it kind of makes sense that stories claim a higher power helped them out. For the monks, these pillars weren't just natural formations. They were sacred, believed to connect heaven and earth. Back in the day, there were 24 monasteries perched up there, but only 6 remain today. Some people believe the rest might not be gone at all, just hidden from plain sight. Maybe those original monks found a way to remain, still alive in their secluded world, guarding ancient secrets that we can only dream of. The place is shrouded in mystery, and the idea that something or someone could still be up there, watching, is hard to shake. Did they uncover some forgotten wisdom? Maybe they knew exactly how to blend into the cliffs and live on, undetected. It's hard not to wonder, did they tap into something we've all missed? 17. The Sumala Monastery. Sumala Monastery is like something out of a storybook, sitting high on a cliff in Turkey's Matska region. Founded back in the 4th century by 2 Athenian monks, this place isn't just about otherworldly views. It's steeped in legends and supernatural lore that make it feel downright magical. One of the coolest legends tells how the monks were led here by a vision of the Virgin Mary. They discovered a holy icon of her, which they believed had miraculous powers. Over the years, Sumala became a hotspot for pilgrims seeking healing and blessings, with many folks believing that the waters from the sacred spring within the monastery have healing properties, and many believe it can cure ailments, just like in the legends. The Rock Church, with its vibrant frescoes, adds to the enchantment. These colorful paintings are said to tell stories of divine protection and miraculous events, making you feel like you've stepped into a living painting. Visitors often say there's a unique energy in the air, as if the prayers of monks from centuries past still linger, infusing the place with spiritual magic. Since it was abandoned in 1923, ghost stories have taken a life of their own. People claim they've heard actual whispers and seen shadows, especially as the sun sets. It's as if the spirits of the monks who once called this place home are still watching over it. The entire atmosphere is filled with mystery, making it feel like the mountain itself is hiding secrets from those brave enough to explore. 18. The Forbidden City. The Forbidden City in Beijing is like stepping into a living history book. This imperial palace, with its stunning architecture and rich background, has so many stories to tell. Built over 600 years ago, it served as the home for emperors from the Ming and Qing dynasties. As you walk through its grand halls, you can almost feel the presence of those ancient rulers lingering around you. One of the coolest things about the Forbidden City is its connection to dragons. In Chinese culture, dragons are symbols of power and protection, and they're everywhere in the palace's design. From intricate carvings to roof tiles that feature dragon motifs, it's like these mythical creatures are watching over the place. A lot of people report feeling a certain energy in the air, as if those past emperors and their mystical protectors are still looking after their home. Then there's the layout of the Forbidden City, which is fascinating in its own right. With over 980 buildings, it's designed based on ancient Chinese cosmology and feng shui principles, creating a harmonious flow that invites exploration. There are even stories that suggest the palace sits on sacred ground. 19. The Ki Monastery. Ki Monastery, or Ki Gompa, is a Tibetan Buddhist site located in the stunning Spiti Valley of India, dating back to the 11th century. According to local lore, the monastery is said to house the remains of monks who reached a high level of spiritual attainment, preserved within its ancient walls. One particularly captivating tale tells of a monk who meditated so deeply that his body ended up mummified. Locals believe these mummies embody the monk's spiritual energy, adding to the monastery's mystical vibe. While these legends might not be found in academic texts, they're definitely part of the local lore and what makes visiting so fascinating. Then, about 40 years ago, something interesting happened. The mummified remains of a monk were discovered in the area. This sparked curiosity and debate about whether it was truly a monk who had experienced such extreme meditation and ascetic practices. 20. The Giant's Causeway. The Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland is bursting with legendary tales about giants. This iconic landscape features around 40,000 hexagonal basalt columns, a result of volcanic activity millions of years ago. But the real magic lies in the stories that surround it. According to local legend, the causeway was built by the giant Finn McCool, who was said to be a fierce warrior and a bit of a legend himself. The tale goes that he wanted to challenge a rival giant, Benandonna, from Scotland, to a duel. To make the journey easier, Finn constructed the causeway so he could cross the sea without getting wet. Some versions of the story describe Finn as a giant of enormous strength, capable of lifting massive stones to create this pathway. But when Finn finally saw Benandonna, he realized he was in way over his head. Benandonna was even bigger than he expected. To avoid the showdown, Finn cleverly disguised himself as a baby, hoping to trick the rival giant into thinking he was just a little one. When Benandonna saw Finn's baby, he panicked, believing Finn must be enormous himself. Terrified, he fled back to Scotland, destroying the causeway in the process to make sure Finn couldn't follow him. What would you give up if you could uncover the secrets behind these legends?